We have a guest in the studio. We'll look at some issues, especially some proposal that has been brought forward. We'll look at that. The proposal for Ogoni Development Authority. We'll look at that. And we have in the studio Fegalo Nsuke. He is the president of MOSOP.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me today.
So there is the call for the proposal, rather, for the establishment of an Ogoni Development Authority, which is what you are proposing. So just tell us about it. What's it in summary?
Yes. After I was elected in December 2018, I clearly set the goal. Because when you look at MOSOP's foundation is in the Ogoni Bill of Rights. And when you look at the Ogoni Bill of Rights, you look at all of the issues there. They are all issues of underdevelopment. We do not have water. Right. Our environment is polluted. We do not have roads. We don't have hospitals. We don't have schools and all of that. They are all issues of underdevelopment. And so I called the steering committee of MOSOP and said, I think that our focus should be to address this problem. We don't have to escalate it. Before now, prior to this time, we've actually had a situation where it was a blanket no to resumption of oil production. It was a blanket no to anything that had to favor the government. The way the government treated Ogoni in alliance with Shell made Ogoni people to be strongly resistant to hate government. In fact, I can use that word. Maybe that's a more appropriate word to use. They felt that government...
Without the agitations.
They felt that government hates us because of the way we were treated. That's the way the Ogoni people felt.
Felt marginalized.
Yes. But what I did is I now went from community to community.
Okay.
And talked to people. And we were a team. And we went from community to community to talk to people to
from
say...
From 2018?
From 2019, we started that process. And we came to some conclusions. We had this documentation. And then we proposed that there should be a development blueprint. So we now propose the establishment of an Ogoni Development Authority. In 2020, precisely January 2nd, there was an assassination attempt on me. And thank God I survived. So when I came back, I just told myself, I said, if these guys had killed me, this thing would have died. So I just said, I think I should fast-track this ODA proposal. Okay. So I called the steering committee of MOSOP again, and I said, we need to move fast on this issue and get things done for Ogoni, because if we don't do it, I don't know what is going to be coming out of it.
Your movement in 2018, from 2019
yes.
to the communities that you said you went to proposing Ogoni Development Authority,
yes.
How welcoming was that?
Was,
how many communities did you cover? Who were the people that you spoke to? Political leaders, traditional leaders, women, men? What was it like?
Yes. Now, this is how we do it. MOSOP has chapters in all Ogoni villages. Okay. And so we communicate to villages through our chapters. And so if I'm coming to a community today, I will let the chapter leader of that community to know. So when I come in, I'm going to visit the traditional ruler. Maybe not in all cases anyway, but I'll visit traditional rulers and acknowledge pay homage to the person, to the chief, and say, I'm in your village today.
Right.
I'm going to be meeting with the MOSOP people in this community.
MOSOP people in the community?
Yes, definitely MOSOP people in the community.
Okay.
And then after that, you now have a discussion with everyone, take their views. Because
by everyone, you mean
everyone,
residents or indigenous of the communities?
Everyone I mean is, within MOSOP, we talk about the way MOSOP is composed. We have the youths.
Okay.
We have the women, we have the chiefs, we have the traditional rulers, chiefs, we have professionals, we have teachers, we have students. So those are the affiliates. So when you come to a village, these are the people you meet. Okay. MOSOP is not just a grassroots movement. MOSOP also has membership. So when we talk about meeting the people, you're talking about the membership. And this membership comprises the youth, the women, the chiefs, everybody. That's what is actually called MOSOP. Okay. The thing is that MOSOP had been so outstanding, and so MOSOP tends to be playing a more prominent leadership role. Okay. But it's not every Ogoni that is a registered member of MOSOP. That's the reality.
Oh,
For you
okay.
to become a registered member of MOSOP, you must be a registered member of an affiliate of MOSOP. So you're either a member of the Youth Council, or you're a member of the Council or the Conference of Traditional Rulers, or you're a member of the Church Leaders Council, or you're a member of the Federation of Ogoni Women's Association, or you're a member of the Ogoni Teachers Union, or you're a member of the Ogoni Central Union. That is what makes you a member of MOSOP. You're not a member of MOSOP because you're an Ogoni, no.
Okay.
So when we talk about when you hear MOSOP people meeting, it is these people that met. But it is massive because it's a mass-based organization. So you could find in one meeting, you could find 10,000 persons, 3,000 persons, like that.
And so these were the people you met, the members.
These are the
of
people
MOSOP.
I'm talking about, yes.
Okay. And for the Ogoni Development Authority was
Yes.
a welcome idea.
For
Excellent. Because, after we took all of these views, we now sat down and drafted the document. And I presented that document to the Executive Committee of MOSOP. And then after that, I presented it to the Central Committee of MOSOP. On the 27th of September 2020, it was approved by the Central Committee of MOSOP as a pathway to the resolution of this problem. You see, one thing people need to understand is this. There's a problem in Ogoni. And what Ogoni needs is a solution.
Okay.
And, of course, there is big money that is out there standing before everybody, because you're talking about an estimated potential for 500,000 barrels of oil per day, which by the current price of oil, I think is about $35 million daily. That's huge. And so there is very keen interest in who controls this process. And that is why that is actually the reason why you see these splinter groups within Ogoni. Because various interest groups, companies, oil companies, we came up with that model. Because, you see, that model was crafted basically out of the demands in the Ogoni Bill of Rights.
Okay.
That model was actually developed after listening to everybody, that we tried to talk to them to understand these things. That model was crafted out of the core principle of MOSOP. And that core principle is that there should be fairness in the way the Ogoni people are treated, and that a fair proportion of Ogoni resources be set aside for Ogoni development. Now, we propose the name Ogoni Development Authority, but that is not what is most important. What is most important is the operationalization of that proposal. And that operationalization simply means that a fair proportion of Ogoni resources will be kept aside for Ogoni development, to create jobs, to build infrastructure, to take care of things like security, and to address issues. When I say infrastructure, I'm not talking about I'm talking about the roads, the schools, the healthcare system, the sewage management system, the security, and the environment and everything. We demanded that a fair proportion, which by the definition of MOSOP is 20% of the profits made from drilling operations in Ogoni or a natural resource extraction in Ogoni. 20% of that figure, 20% of that, the profit made from that, should be set aside for Ogoni development.
Okay.
And we didn't stop there. We also worked out how it will be operationalized, such that it benefits every single Ogoni and guarantees a future for every child that is born in Ogoni.
Is that every single Ogoni?
Every single Ogoni.
Both those who are not members of MOSOP?
Including those who are not even born Ogonis, but they are resident within Ogoni. In fact, if you look at the ODA document, our definition of Ogoni is everyone that is resident within Ogoni, whether you are an Ogoni indigene or you are but in as much as you are a resident in Ogoni, whether you came from Kafanchan, wherever you came from, in as much as you are a resident in the territory of Ogoni, you are an Ogoni by the definition of the definition in the ODA. Because whether we like it or not, all of these people will influence what goes on there.
Okay.
All of them will influence Ogoni in some way. And as a matter of fact, I can attest to the fact that there are lots of non-indigenous of Ogoni that are affecting lives in Ogoni. In many cases, far better than Ogonis are doing.
All right, so let's look at how, as you're talking, I just remembered high prep. I mean, all geared towards, the cleanup of Ogoni land and then address some of the issues in Ogoni land. So how is it going to be, ODA going to be different from high prep?
Yes.
What is ODA going to come up with that is going to be different from?
The ODA is addressing holistic development.
Holistic.
Everything development.
Okay.
It's taking care of the schools, the healthcare system, and every other thing. IPREP is just IPREP just has access to about $1 billion. I'm not even sure they spent half of that money, but IPREP is just a $1 billion project, and I think it's just a special intervention. I see it as a special intervention of the federal government to address the pollution issue.
Yeah.
And of course, they're not doing the right thing. They're not doing the right thing because they are supposed to be doing rehabilitation, but that's not what they are doing. But when they talk about the development proposal, the proposal is taking care of creating jobs, ensuring building an Ogoni economy, guaranteeing the future of children that are born in Ogoni. That is, we want a system that is sustainable and guarantees the future of Ogoni. That future lies in how much resources are injected into the Ogoni economy. And these resources is going to do everything we are talking about. So that's why I say it is not just about getting resources, but it's also about structuring the operationalization of that concept, Ogoni Development Authority. We've also put together, if you look at the document, we have a structure for its operationalization so that everyone benefits from it. You see, I tell you something. When you talk about the struggle of the Ogoni people, you think of the women in our villages, the young people in our villages who championed all of this. They took the bullets, they took the wounds, many of them died, some of them today lost their loved ones and all of that. They are the real power of Ogoni. And so we cannot have a system that poor people will be made to come out in the streets and protest and push shell out of the system. And then when it comes to discussing the benefits, you now have somebody will come and tell you, I have a PhD. It's for this thing is for PhDs. I don't believe in that. I believe that those who have labored, those who have paid the sacrifices, should also benefit from the fruit of their labor.
Why does MOSOP think that the ODA will solve all the challenges of the Ogoni people?
Because it's people oriented.
Because someone might just be asking, before this proposal is probably reviewed and then you get it established and everything begins to work as much as you have said, someone might just be thinking, maybe an Ogoni person asking, who is not MOSOP, but understands what MOSOP does, or someone outside Ogoni who's Rivers or not even River State asking, what if ODA is established and then there's just a lookout for other, there's also other proposals and say, oh, there has to be this development, this area is not done properly. Just like you just mentioned the high prep, there's a functionality issue, a space of issue with functionality. So why does why do you think that ultimately the ODA will be as effective as it should be? You have mentioned people-oriented. Maybe there are other factors.
That's fundamental because it's people-oriented, and that is what makes it the path and the right path acceptable to everyone to address this issue. You see, this struggle is about the people. This struggle is not just about some individuals. And everyone is expecting that this struggle should transform their lives, make them happier, better people, give them a future, give them hope. The ODA is a pathway that was built with that goal. The basic goal of the Ogoni Development Authority, the idea, because let's forget about the name. Let's look at the concept, the idea, because when we talk about getting this thing working, in fact, you always hear me talk about operationalizing it. It is not just a creation of government. No, it is not a creation of government, in fact. It is a creation of the Ogoni people to ensure that resources from Ogoni, a fair proportion, is injected into Ogoni development. Now, this is how it works. You create a trust fund, and then you allocate funds to that trust fund based on an agreed percentage. And then you now get a third-party asset management firm that has integrity, global integrity. So you now sit the person down and say, look, this is the money that will be trickling in on daily basis. So this is how much we have for development. Now we want you to champion and implement development in Ogoni. These are the areas we want you to address: job creation, security, infrastructural development, build a future healthcare, all of that. So what the asset management firm does is to do a mapping of Ogoni. After doing the mapping, they sit down and draw it. See, design is not just this, consider it done. Do this road, do that bridge. That's not development. You design development, you draw, you do the drawing, and then you begin to implement that plan.
Does it mean it should run independently of MOSOP?
It will run independently of MOSOP. It's not going to be under the control of MOSOP. And that is fundamental, because I mean, I wouldn't want to control that kind of. I mean, everybody in Ogoni will have to be coming to me to say, I want to. No.
Okay, so
now, first of all, let me start with the state government. I think the state government is going to be one of the biggest beneficiaries of the operationalization of the ODA, because you're going to be talking about huge tax revenues to government. And first of all, we'll be taking away the responsibility to even bother about job creation, because we see the operationalization of the ODA as something that will exterminate unemployment in Ogoni.
So one will be wondering how, you know?
Yes, let me explain. Now, if ODA is operationalized, Ogoni gets a fair development.
Okay.
And so you're going to be seeing massive road construction work. You're going to be seeing factories being built with their resources and sold back to the private sector. You're going to be seeing lots of infrastructural development, lots of work going on in schools, and this is a continuous exercise, something that will be going on continuously. You look at the population of Ogoni, I don't see where we are going to really get the manpower to do all of this. And so it means that Ogoni is going to be like the most attractive environment where people will come to look for jobs. So it's going to be massive. The River State government is going to benefit, massively, because you're going to be raising money from taxes. You're going to be raising money from a whole lot of. You're going to be getting more money from derivation funds. Whereas River State, I think that the budget of River State could possibly triple, more than double, the moment this ODA
comes on stream.
Comes on stream, because we envisage that we're talking about resources being plugged into Ogoni development. And of course, that resources will be coming from Ogoni. So it means also that River State government will be taking their own derivation fund. It's big. It's going to be, it's a win-win. The same thing for the federal government. The federal government is going to be getting more revenue available for building the Nigerian states. So, and the same thing for the local governments. They are going to be getting more revenue. So it's a win-win for everyone. For everyone, the community, the people are going to be getting jobs. The people are going to be sleeping. The people are going to be getting uninterrupted power supply, because this money is going to be used to build power. And of course, getting uninterrupted power means that entrepreneurship will flourish. Entrepreneurship will flourish. Cost of doing business will reduce. And you're not talking about the multiplier effect, because when you talk about the multiplier effect, that is the bigger industry. People are going to be, even if you sell groundnuts, you're going to sell. You're going to make money. It's beautiful. That's the concept. The concept is not just about a government agency. No.
Okay.
This is an Ogoni-driven
people-oriented, you said. When we started the conversation and we were moving around the supposed incumbency challenges, supposed, I used the word, you had mentioned some of the challenges and why that has been happening. Do you also foresee those challenges, one that will want to halt or delay Ogoni Development Authority?
Yes, it's normal, it's natural. It's very natural. In every activity, if there's anything you do in this universe and you don't have challenge, you don't face challenge, you don't face opposition, you're doing nothing. Anything you do that makes meaning, that is reasonable, you should expect that you should face challenges. And as far as I'm concerned, I should expect those challenges to come. Those challenges make you strong. Those challenges make you more determined. Those challenges brings out the creativity in you to achieve your goals for the people. So Challenges are normal. Let's look at the reality. We are in River State. We have a ruling party in River State. It's called the PDP. Huh?
Yeah.
Do we have a united PDP? No. We are in River State. We have a House of Assembly in River State. Do we have one House of Assembly in River State? No. We have, in fact, they tell me that we have 2 speakers. Look at the APC, the opposition party in River State. Do we have one chairman? I heard that the Tony Okocha's own is different from the one. There's another one. Chief Emeka Beke. So we have.
But that's not the atmosphere we have in a lot of states.
No, what I'm saying it's not what we have. The point let me summarize. The point I'm trying to make is simple. What I'm saying is that opposition is normal in every system, in every environment. Where you have a good God, you have a bad devil. Where you have good, you must have bad. You must have black, you must have white. It's a given. Okay. It's natural. So opposition is normal. What is fundamental is that the majority can stand for the good. That is fundamental. I tell you, the people are stronger than anybody. These people are stronger than even the government. The people are strong. That is why they talk about popular sovereignty. The people have the power. And when the people rise to do what is good, I don't see anything stopping them. So it's not something to be worried about, that there is an opposition. There will always be opposition. And there should be opposition. It was there from the beginning.
Okay, so the ODA is a result or a testament to the rising up of the people.
The ODA is a testament to the rising of the people, because it is the rising of the people that threw away Shell. It is the rising of the people that gave us this opportunity to be discussing this development initiative we are doing today. It is the rising of the people. Yes. And the whole, what I want people to really focus on is that, what was our goal? When we talked about Ogoni struggle, what was the goal of the Ogoni struggle? The goal was to address the underdevelopment, the marginalization of Ogoni. Nobody should confuse us about this. The only reason why we protested is because you hear people tell you read Ogoni Bill of Rights itself. It tells you we don't even have water. Look at even the high prep we're talking about. What is the essence of high prep? They said, go and do remediation, go and do cleanup. So the goal of the entire thing is to make life better for people. Okay. So we must hold that very strongly, and not to think that we are Ogonis and we are just in opposition. Our work is to oppose, and keep opposing. We're not looking at what we can do to get out of trouble. All we are looking at is who is benefiting, who is in high prep, who is getting money from here. And I hear people tell me that I have not benefited. What have you benefited? What have you gotten from this? What have you gotten from that? Some people even ask me the question, what have we gotten from MOSOP? What has MOSOP done for you? I've had to hear that from people, some of the villages. In some villages, I've heard that. I'm being realistic.
Okay.
And I look at them and I say, even your identity, the fact that you're proud today as an Ogoni, is the work of MOSOP. I went to secondary school when Ogoni was, it was even derogatory to talk about, think of yourself as an Ogoni. Today, I don't, if I leave this country, where are you from? I'm an Ogoni. I don't tell you I'm from River State. So if I leave, even if I go to Abuja, oh, you are from where? I'm an Ogoni. I am first an Ogoni before I'm from River State.
Okay.
I am so proud of being an Ogoni today, and I give that credit to the work of MOSOP.
All right. So let's begin to look at the structure or composition of this ODA that has been proposed, because when you have what do we call this now? It's an agency.
It's not really an agency. It's
what would it be?
It is
a community of people.
It's not really an agency. It is like It's like an organization. Let's call it an organization because
Organization.
yes,
Let's begin to look at structure of this organization, because if there is no structure in an organization, all the beautiful things that you've said, oh well, there will just be things that are beautiful, very sweet sounding to the ears and nothing more. So let's look at, is there a structure that would drive this particular idea?
Yes.
What's the composition? Do we have, it's this person or that person, and then do we have, I don't know if we're going to ask if there are guarantees.
To just add to that, right?
Yeah.
Because F on the document here, numbered F, proposal implementation. If you go down to one, proposed composition of the authority,
Right.
you see that, let me go, terms of membership, B, you see that the terms of all members shall be 4 years. And so I'm wondering, so you be a member, so maybe you could just explain in line with what she's asked.
Yes.
And then there's also all members of the authority will be nominated and approved by the Central Committee of MOSOP.
Yes.
Members approved, and quite a number of. So maybe you just
yes.
a
This
summary
is the proposal as it was approved.
Okay.
As the structure is going to be, it's actually the composition is actually drawn from the affiliates of MOSOP, the youths, the women, the chiefs, and all of that. At the moment, we are working on a proposal to moderate, to alter this particular section of this ODA, and we will be presenting that to a larger and enlarged steering committee meeting. We want to accommodate certain persons that are not really registered members of MOSOP. So we will be extending it to maybe other traditional rulers. In fact, we've actually commenced an engagement process to discuss all of this, to see how we build in more people into it. But we also trying to
other traditional rulers from outside Ogoni.
No, that is
Okay,
when you talk about traditional rulers council, within MOSOP you have the Conference of Ogoni Traditional Rulers.
Oh,
yes, but you also have some other traditional rulers organizations like Paramount Rulers Associations and things like that. There are lots of associations. So we are going to be engaging all of these people and let them understand the entire concept, and so just to reduce the rate at which you could have some opposition. We are not carried along.
Okay.
Yes, we're trying to do that, but it's not something I will just do. It's something that we have to be presented to the larger house, the central committee, and then we build in all of this interest. But fundamentally, we do not even want the board, those appointed into the leadership of the ODA itself. We don't even want them to be in control of money. That's the fact. We want this implementation to be handled by a credible third-party asset management firm
Yeah,
that
you mentioned
reports.
that earlier.
Yes, that reports every activity to Ogoni. So if I take a contract to do a road, Ogoni people will have to know that I am doing maybe a 10-kilometer road. And so if I falter, I can be held responsible.
Okay.
We're trying to we are going to build in transparency, and we are going to build in integrity. And I can tell you, with the kind of structure we are putting in place, there will be excellent performance. It will be so beautiful.
Okay, so I'm wondering, would there be like a chairman? Would that be like a director?
Yes,
would that be
sure.
Like, okay.
It's going to run like a normal organization.
Oh.
But when it comes to the money, it's not going to be controlled by anybody. We will all see our money, how much
But
we have,
controlled by
and
a
what
third
we are
party.
and what we are doing, because we bring in a third party to manage the assets and report to Ogoni. So it's not something anybody will sit to direct who does. I mean, if I want a road in my village, I have to be going to Mr. A. Or if I want a hospital in my village, I have to. No. Everybody will have equal chance of experiencing development. That's the idea.
Is this document accessible to all Ogonis?
Yes, it's online.
Oh, okay.
It's online. If you just do a normal search for Ogoni Development Authority, you find it.
Okay, so before we open up the phone lines, I see them buzzing already. I'll open up the phone lines to take a few calls. But let's look at the process that has come, and then the process that it would take, right? The due process that this will be followed until it becomes a reality. What's the step we're in now at the moment, and what other step that you need to take to see this to a reality?
Yes, fundamentally, is much has to do with the government. Because
first, the government of the state.
much of what we have to do will depend on the government, because we want the government to understand that.
Are you talking about the government of the state?
I'm talking about the government of Nigeria.
Of Nigeria.
We want the government to understand that when it comes to the issue of oil in Ogoni, MOSOP led the struggle that pushed Shell out. And these people called MOSOP, the grassroots, some people call them the common people. They are the ones that were in the streets. They are the ones that were carrying the leaves. They were the ones that confronted Okuntimo. They were the ones that forced Shell out. And so these people have demanded that the ODA must be operationalized, because that is what guarantees development in Ogoni. And so if this particular demand is not taken care of, what we are simply saying is that they will return back to the streets. They will not accept it, because we are not going to fight, lose over 4,000 lives, and one man from somewhere will come and take everything and say he is an oil company. That's not right. We're not accepting. That is the problem we do have with the entire system. So the government has a critical role to play to understand that whoever is coming must accommodate the interests of the Ogoni people in this deal.
And the interest of the Ogoni people
is the ODA.
ODA.
Yes.
All right. So you talked about the government of Nigeria. So
yes.
What role is the state government supposed to play in this process?
Yes. When it comes to this issue of oil, the state government has to play a role, because the governor is the owner of the land. So there is some relationship between the federal government and the state. But when it comes to decision making in Nigeria, in respect of oil, the president is the ultimate decision maker. And all we are doing is to lend our voices so everybody should hear us, to say, look, this is the pathway, and that if you do this, we will accept it 100%. In fact, once you do this, the matter is solved permanently. You won't see anybody protesting anywhere any longer.
Oh,
that's what we are seeing.
All right, let's open the phone lines now.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've gone through this document and you probably you think that this is a perfect initiative, perfect organization for the Ogoni people, or you might just want to give a thought. Or if you haven't gone through the proposal, you have been hearing our guest talk for the past 40 minutes, I think, and so you'd have a thing or two to say. 0817 00 00951, 0817 00 00951, or 0810 9510 951. And for calls for text or WhatsApp messages, 08701 9339 962.
Okay, and you can also join the conversation on social media. Facebook Today 95.1 FM, on X at Today FM 951. Hello, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah, Mr. Zion from Port Harcourt. Good afternoon to you.
All right, Mr. Zion.
This document, was it done in consensus of the Ogoni people?
All right, Mr. Zion.
Or just few of that concocted?
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Because of time, he would respond to you now.
Okay, thank you for, I thank the caller. It should concern for Ogoni. This document demands that 20% of the profit that is made from natural resource extraction in Ogoni be set aside for Ogoni development. When you look at this, it agrees with the core concept of the Ogoni struggle, which in our traditional parlance we call Mideko. Mideko is simply 1 out of 5 days is committed to the owner of the land, 20%. And you will see this Mideko reflecting even in the Ogoni Bill of Rights. Ogoni Bill of Rights states that an estimated $30 billion worth of oil was extracted from Ogoni between 1958 and 1990. $30 billion worth of oil. And that Ogoni Bill of Rights says that Ogoni is demanding $6 billion in royalties from what has been extracted from Ogoni. When you do the calculation, you will discover that $6 billion of $30 billion is 20%. It's 20%. So what am I saying? We are saying the same thing, whether we call it ODA, whether we call it any name. The name is insignificant. The idea is fundamental. This idea resonates with the vision of the founding fathers of Ogoni and the founding fathers of MOSOP.
All right.
What we are simply asking for is fairness, and we have defined this fairness, that this portion should be committed to Ogoni development, and this is how it should be operationalized. It solves the problem.
All right. Hello, good afternoon.
Faustina, good afternoon.
Welcome.
My name is Stephen Ido.
Go straight to the point. Thank you.
I greet my brother in the studio there with you. I'm from Bane, and I want to ask him a relevant question.
Let me be very precise. You just see that when people talk about Ogoni, they talk about MOSOP. He asked a question. He said, what has MOSOP done for the Ogoni people? Yeah. So when you say you are an Ogoni, the first thing people identify you with is MOSOP. That's an achievement. You go out there, you go to outside Nigeria and you tell them you are an Ogoni, they know you. That's one of the gains of MOSOP. Everywhere you go in the world, if an island is like the home of Ogoni people, if you're an Ogoni, you get into Ireland, you are as good as being at home. The same thing happens in Canada. If you get into Canada and you're an Ogoni, you're at home. What am I saying? MOSOP has made significant difference. Anyone who knows Ogoni before 1990 will acknowledge the difference that MOSOP has made in the lives of the Ogoni people. But you see, MOSOP is not like MOSOP is an idea. MOSOP is not like just a physical organism. MOSOP is a philosophy. That philosophy is that Ogoni people must have better life. That the future of Ogoni must be secured. And what we are also letting Ogoni people to know is that this security lies in how much the resources in Ogoni is plugged in to drive this process.
All right. Because of time, so just take a few messages and wrap up.
Yes, let's. Greetings, Faustina and Queen. I like the way your guest is flowing, and it's reminding me of Tony Okocha in APC, Abby from Port Harcourt. Just concluding thoughts as we just, in 30 seconds.
Yes, I like to say something. You see, the beauty of freedom in every society is that you have the right to air your views. What matters most is where the desires of the majority of the Ogoni people, the common people that have suffered, that have labored, that have made sacrifices. These common people are in the majority, and their interest is most important.
All right. Thank you so much. Fegalo Nsuke.
Thank you.
All right.